Thank you for joining CU Bands and Fans podcast. Our podcast is brought to you by Homegrown KIO. Homegrown KIO is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. It is a stellar show featuring the great songs that have come from bands originating in Champaign-Urbana. Listen at 107.9 on your FM dial, at 1079wkio.com, or ask Alexa to play WKIO.
KIO Arcola Champaign-Urbana. Classic Hits 1079. Streaming at 1079wkio.com. Or ask Alexa for WKIO.
Hey, welcome to CU Bands and Fans podcast, where musicians tell their story. We're very excited to have Rabbit in Red with us tonight, and they are from Effingham, Illinois. So we're going to let them introduce themselves and what instruments they play and what part they play in the band. Let's start with you, Josh.
I am Josh Custer. I am the drummer. I also do some rapping for the band, and I sing some background vocals.
My name is Nick Reuter. I am the lead singer and rhythm guitar. I suppose predominant lyricist, writing-wise, and then I let these guys make it sound pretty.
Drew?
I'm Drew Robinson. I'm living in Effingham, but I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm doing guitar for the band and background vocals.
All right. Corey?
I'm Corey Knighty. I play bass. When we first started, I played guitar, but I took a little hiatus and came back on bass. Now we're stronger than ever.
Right.
That's interesting. So let's start with Drew. How'd you end up here from Baltimore?
So my dad's job actually is why I ended up out here. And then I've kind of always been involved with the music scene ever since, from living out there to coming out here and everything. And then kind of actually got involved in like some church projects and over the years, and then kind of moved away from that. And now been playing with Josh for years actually, and then kind of just evolved into this. So now here we are.
Amazing. What do you think of the differences between Baltimore's music scene and ours?
I mean, the East Coast scene as a whole was just like way different. I didn't get too much of a chance because I was still pretty young whenever I was playing out there and everything. I was mainly still just learning at that point. But yeah, like it's just a lot different than out here. Out here, we have almost more of like that country vibe versus out there they have the reggae vibe. Here it's going to be more along the lines of straight up like a rock music type thing as well, versus out there again it's more, I don't know, a lot of the music is going to either be like hip hop centered or more along the like reggae style vibes out there mostly.
Yeah, and that's quite a difference because ours is more country and then rock, or red dirt country, whatever, red dirt rock, whatever you want to call it. So it is a big difference. But as far as venues and people that come to see live music, is it a pretty big deal, or is it just kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say like all across the country, there's like, music going on that's, really drawing people in everywhere. And it kind of it's all different styles, though, is the interesting part. Like the East Coast right now has a really interesting jam scene going on. And then out here, we do have a lot more of like the rock music, and that's kind of what's drawing people. So.
Yeah, and I think summertime in central Illinois is a lot of festivals and events and music festivals and fairs and all that kind of thing. So it's pretty active in the summertime. Winter, not as much. Okay, yeah. Let's move on to Corey. You said you began guitar and then you took a hiatus and you came back and played bass.
Yeah, when we started this project, we all kind of took roles that weren't traditionally ours. Like Josh, for instance, usually is like kind of a front man of sorts, like singer, guitar player even. And he decided to take drums on this one. And then Nick decided at first to take bass, which obviously he's typically a guitar player, and he still was singing while playing bass. But then I just took like my chance to play guitar with Drew, which is always a good time. But I got too busy with work, so I kind of stepped back, and they took in another really good bass player, Adam Birch. And then whenever he kind of got too busy, I decided I was ready to take the reins again.
You know, because when I looked at your Facebook, I seen a picture of Adam. I was like, is that Adam? And so I clicked on it. I was like, no, he just looked like Adam, maybe. Confused. I was so
Yeah, that's
confused.
funny. We actually got that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought.
We
I thought,
played
oh,
a show at Max Uptown, and the bartender was like convinced I'm Adam.
yeah, that's.
She's like, I liked your last show.
I got so confused.
We tried to make it an easy transition. We didn't want to shock people with somebody too different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adam isn't real.
I've been playing music with Adam for almost 20 years now, and Adam is just where we live is the most sought after bass player around. And for all the things that we're trying to do right now, unfortunately, Adam has about 6,000 bands he's in currently. And so we kind of had to move on, but luckily it worked out because right when it happened is when Corey was open to come back, and we've solidified into what is Rabbit in Red now, I believe.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, Corey, that you were able to come back and pick that bass up and do your thing. That
Adam, yeah, it was definitely a redemption moment.
We met Adam at
it turned house party into house party too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Oh, Corey.
We
Are
met.
you thinking a Kid and Play reference? Oh man,
he did. With Matt Posban.
Oh sure.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So on to Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up, Nick? What do? You're doing bass and
I was originally I was playing bass, and that's why I joked with these guys. I'm like, I guess we just had the algorithm wrong the first time, and Corey and I should have just switched from the get go. But it got us where we needed to be, and we were talking about Drew being from Baltimore. That's one thing I really like about us is that we do have such a really eclectic background music wise, because I grew up around the area here, but I spent about 11 years out in Washington State. So I grew up real heavy around the Seattle grunge scene. So I get a lot of my influence in writing and my sound from growing up with that. So we have a good blend of sounds. I think we're making our own unique sound at this point where you can kind of tell the influences without it being too overbearing.
Sure.
yeah, it was so because I was reading descriptions and there was a little bit of everything. There was some funk and some rock and some it was a mixture. But on your website, alternative. What did you guys say? I'm kidding.
Good question. What did we say?
Alternative something rock band. What did I say? Funk.
Josh wrote it. What was that?
Alternative funk rock band is what it says.
Is that what it says?
Is that what you would say that it is? Is that
to me it's like a grunge band got kidnapped by a bunch of guys that wanted to jam out all those songs. And they went with it.
But
to me,
it works because
it's definitely a blend of Drew and Nick, just so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like if you spelled Foo Fighters but with PHs like fish.
Yes, exactly. That's the best way to describe it.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Okay. When I went to hear your music and I went to Spotify and I clicked on that, I'm telling you, we hear a lot of music and some you can hear some of it and be like, yeah, that's cool, and then just move on but when I heard your music, I did not move on. I had tears. I'm not kidding you. I had tears in my eyes. I was so, yeah, I'm not kidding you. I was so moved by the fact that you guys are so good. Does that make, I don't know if that makes sense, but you just hear a lot of music and some of it just kind of gets just in the flow or it gets scrambled together and as, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. But some music just makes you stop. And that's what your music did. And I was duly impressed. Very much so. I listened over and over and over. And then I went and got my roommate and I was like, listen, you got to listen to this. These guys are local. Like, this is some local stuff right here. And he was like, wow, that's amazing. So and I've got it on repeat. I mean, I love it. I tried to buy it today, but my iTunes password is, I will get to it though. I will get it bought.
Thank you so much for saying that. That is incredibly kind of you to say.
Yes,
I mean, I'm not going to say it surprised me because we have tremendous music scene and exceptional musicians.
Yes, we do.
We can hear stuff that's just like, this doesn't belong here. I mean, you need to be, there or there. But it kind of surprised me because I didn't know what to expect, I guess, because I don't know you guys. I've never met you. I've never listened to you. I've never went to see you live. And so I just didn't know what to expect. So I was really, really, really taken by it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what you're doing works. Your genre or whatever it is, it's cool. It's awesome that you're kind of just mixing this together and coming up with your own thing. So who is the writer in this with your music?
Predominantly me, yeah. I do a lot, mostly the lyrics. I kind of bring them the bones of the song. There's a lot of stuff that these guys have input on these that just take them to an entirely new level.
Or a different place. Completely.
Yeah, well, like Wilt is a perfect example. Wilt was originally supposed to be kind of what Vicky actually was, and that was supposed to be a kind of a solo acoustic, slower song, and it kind of started as a joke. I think you were the one you started into that groove on the drums.
I was like, I
just entirely changed the song.
I'm pretty sure this is a surf rock song, Nick. This is not an acoustic song. I'm fairly certain that this is some sort of futuristic surf rock song.
Exactly. Yeah, and it worked out. It turned into one of my favorites, actually.
So, Nick, when you write a song, do you have any kind of a vibe of how you think it should sound? And then when you bring it to these guys, it's a whole different.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like Will's another, like I said, a perfect example of that. I have the brainchild and how I hear it, and I try my best to convey that to them. But I enjoy bringing what I have ready to them and seeing where they take it rather than me saying, this is how I want it.
He trusts us very much.
Yeah.
I was going to say that does take trust. And
let me tell you trust. Trust is when you've written a song that's a ballad that's kind of, pretty much about your wife and about how much you love her, and you bring it to your band and your drummer goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to write a rap verse for this. And you're like, okay, we'll go with it. And then and accept it. And then it becomes part of the song. He's very open to this is what I came up with. What can you guys tack onto it or change it or move it around or however?
Have you ever, Nick, have you ever written something, brought it to them, they put it together and you were just the foundation of it and they built the song. Have you ever just went, no, that's not
that I can distinctly think of. No, there's been things where we try it out. We get ideas while we're playing through it. It's like, well, let's just see how it sounds. And we kind of, as a group, are like, yeah, no, yes, no, let's try it for this. Actually, the new one is a perfect example of that. We just played a new song that we really don't have a name for yet. Was that last weekend?
2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago.
Last week. 2 weekends ago.
Recently. Where I brought it to them on our regular Wednesday night rehearsals, and I was like, hey, how about let's just try this new tune that I threw together and let's see what happens. And I played it for them how I wrote it and heard it, and there's a few things that we tried to do didn't quite work where we wanted it to be at in the song, and we try it in a different spot and it works out. And it's a science experiment basically. But there hasn't been anything that I went, oh no, we're not doing that.
As far as bands go, we're pretty egoless, and we're all kind of just here to serve the song, and everyone kind of just, it's very easy.
Yeah,
it's very easy.
Okay, I think
one of the helpful parts of us being like a jam band type is we can also just like go off if we're like trying to write a new tune. For example, the last one, we can just go off kind of into just different jams, going different directions for like 20 plus minutes, and just kind of cherry pick out of those what felt best.
Yep.
so. Musicians blow my mind anyway. It's just mind blowing. And where do you guys record?
Well, the last album we recorded in my basement. We self-recorded our first album. The name 1512 is actually my street address, and the sign on the front is in front of my house. And it took us a lot of time because we had limited time that we did it with. So a few hours here a week, a few hours there a week, and this last thing that we did, we actually went to Highway 50 Studios, and we recorded some stuff there with the guys from MuddyCreekandCompany. Who run that studio, and that'll be coming out in the next, hopefully a few months. We'll be having a new live at Highway 50 Studios album coming out that kind of shows how these songs have grown over the past year.
Yeah. What's the name of it going to be? Do you know?
I think Live at Highway 50 Studios. I think is what it'll probably be called. Maybe we'll come up with something more clever than that. Yeah.
Is this going to be completely digital or?
Actually, we're looking at doing a vinyl release on that one, hopefully. So, yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
She said yes.
I'm hearing that to do vinyl right now is taking forever.
Yeah,
like the
process. Yeah.
We actually just announced today on our website that 1512 is now available on vinyl starting today, actually. We started working with Brick Loud Records, and they are releasing it on vinyl. So mine was supposed to ship tomorrow. I ordered a while back, and we'll see. We'll do an unboxing pretty soon with our vinyl, hopefully.
Okay, I want one of those.
Okay.
I want to buy one of those, and you mail it to me, or I'll come to a gig, whatever. But I want one of those vinyls.
Absolutely.
Who does your cover work?
Well, that was your photograph.
Yeah.
I think I just did a little bit of editing and.
Yeah, for the most part, all of our marketing and stuff we do in-house ourselves. We recently have a poster. We have an upcoming gig next month in Charleston with MuddyCreekandCompany that we hired out someone to do a poster for us. But besides that, we pretty much do all of our graphic and stuff ourselves. Nick and I basically, and actually I should say that Drew is a Photoshop genius, and now he has started producing a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna bow out because Drew needs to do it.
Yeah.
I usually pay the other guys to do any promotional work I need.
Yeah, it's always good to have somebody that can do that and get that done for you, because it's so hard to like be doing what you're doing and then go, okay, now we got to find someone, create this or do that, and it's better.
Right.
So who markets your music, or do you guys just got digital sites that you put it up there yourself?
So far, everything we do in-house. Yeah, we do everything ourselves.
How long have you guys been a band?
We started in probably.
Why are you laughing?
A little bit after quarantine, probably.
Yeah, I think it was March.
It was during quarantine is whenever the first few things started to take hold.
Yeah. And then so we've only been playing together since not even 2 years yet.
And look how much you've done. I mean, you guys have done a lot for
we work.
The last few months especially.
Yeah. Wednesday will be the 1 year anniversary of our album coming out. We've done a live album since then, and festivals and shows, and have another live album coming out and some live cover stuff coming out. So we really do. We put a lot into this. We do. We believe in ourselves.
Yeah,
that's right.
As you should, because you guys are pretty solid. And so 1512, was that your first one or no?
Yes.
Okay. And your logo came from where?
Yeah, the logo itself. Yeah, I threw that together, and we've had a few different variations of it, and we ended up still falling back to that original design. yeah, I spent a few hours just kind of bored one day, and I was like, you know what, we need a logo. So just kind of kept playing around with ideas and sending it in the group chat to the guys until they stopped shooting them down and we settled on it.
Did
And like a true writer, he still wants to like tweak it constantly too. And we have to just be like, shut up, Nick, it's done. That's a logo. It's on shirts now.
going on the back of our t-shirts, so you know.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
And so the Rabbit in Red name came from where?
Well, his idea, but
it's just so in the original Halloween movie, John Carpenter's Halloween, the matchbook that the nurse who gets killed towards the beginning is from the Rabbit in Red Lounge, which is a bar, and I've always just thought that would be a cool band name.
I love asking that question to bands because the answer is always hilarious.
well, actually, it wasn't even our original name.
No, yeah, our original name was the Elastic Boogie Band.
And I think I might have came up with that one. It was terrible.
Because Corey misheard me. It was my dad, who is a seasoned musician, had always wanted to have a band called the Last Ditch Boogie Band. And I threw that out there to the guys, and Corey goes, Elastic Boogie Band? I was like, well, actually, man, now that you say that, yeah.
Like Elastic Waistband. That's clever.
Yes, it's perfect.
That was
Kind
very
of glad you
short-lived.
landed on Rabbit in Red. I like it.
it.
It's different. It's unique, pops, you know.
We realized very
We weren't
quickly
actually
that,
much of a boogie band, to be honest,
exactly.
anyway.
I actually brought them Rabbit in Red at the beginning, just so you know. And they were like, well, I don't know. How about this Elastic Boogie Band thing? And like we rode with that for a while. And then at some point it got tired to them. And I was like, guys, that Rabbit in Red is still hanging out there. We could still go with that. A lot we could do with the rabbit imagery. And they finally
You were right. Is that what you want to hear?
Yes, that's what I want to hear. Thank you.
How come you guys didn't like that originally?
It's because Josh came up with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback. Just because it's for me, there's a lot of pushback.
So
Yeah, I guess I don't know how to properly answer that.
So Effingham, is that your base where you play the most? Charleston, Effingham, Mattoon?
Yeah, we've done some stuff at Red Flag in St. Louis.
Wow.
I think Charleston and St. Louis, I think we've actually played more
probably, than we have here. Yeah. But we're working on that. We are. If you're a venue and that we've emailed you, give us a shout back.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, and I would advise venues to really seriously take time out to.
Yep, we have EK and all of our stuff. Yep, absolutely.
I guess it's an EK, electronic kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Anyway.
EPK, but who's keeping track?
Yeah, actually go and listen to it. You'd be in, if they took a minute to just go and listen. And that's the whole thing about music in this area is actually taking a minute, stopping the scrolling, and actually listen. Because once you do, that's it. I mean, that's what I did. I was like, let me go and just hit Spotify on this, and I did, and I was like, whoa, I'm just gonna stay here. I swear I'm staying today. So
I mean, that's all we ask really is just a minute, because I mean we're like I said, we're a very egoless band, but when it comes to our music as a whole, we definitely are. I mean, a minute is all we need of your time to do something.
Because you do originals, do you ever put covers in there with the originals?
Oh, sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, we ended a night, very interestingly, one night, as it was at the Uptowner. We did our song Razor Blade, and I think we played it for about 20 minutes because we turned it, without stopping, turned it into No Diggity, and then into Tush by ZZ Top.
Nice.
So we took it for a ride. So yeah, we definitely experiment and play around with throwing covers in the mix.
I love that. So where did you all get your talent?
Drew, can you start? I would love to know how to get your talent.
Yeah.
I actually took lessons for maybe only like a year, and I was actually told basically, like specifically with drums, that I wouldn't get anywhere. And then I ended up drumming for 13 years, and that was kind of my main instrument. And then I moved on to guitar. Well, I technically took piano lessons for a really long time too, and I did not learn anything because I can't read sheet music actually. So I basically ended up having to I was self-taught completely on everything with guitar and piano. And I kind of just like took the little bit of knowledge that I had and then kind of just evolved it and worked with it to get to where I'm at now. So,
Wow. That's
And he is being very modest there when he says too that he didn't get anywhere playing with his piano lessons, because he is a very talented pianist as well. So
Yeah, whenever Drew and I first started jamming, he was playing keyboard in a cover band I was in, and we're out making plenty of money, playing plenty of gigs.
yep.
Drew, you're being very modest.
Yeah, super talented. Probably one of the most talented kids I know.
What about you, Corey?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I just have always played in like garage and bar bands and just kind of wung it until I've got to where I am now. Mostly just feeding off other talented musicians, just stealing little morsels of knowledge from people like Drew here.
There you go. Yeah. So when did you guys, Josh, how about you?
I grew up in, my mom went to Milliken to be a band director, and I was piano lessons as a kid, trombone in junior high. Then they needed someone to play drums, so I switched over to drums. I was in jazz ensembles. I went to EIU percussion camps back in the days. Wow. And then when I got out of school and I was playing in the church band, I got out of all that and started following Fish and stuff like that around, and started playing. And then I picked up the guitar, and I didn't play drums before we started this project, probably 15, 16 years, because I'm the old person in the band, and picked them back up recently. But I've just always, I play guitar, I play harmonicas. Before in this band, I was more of a Dylan kind of guy. I'd wear my harmonicas and play my songs and my sad bastard.
The truth is though, this is all kind of like Josh's mastermind project at how it all began. He kind of just like I had met Josh, which had introduced me to Nick and Drew, sort of. Me and Drew kind of crossed paths naturally too. But then Josh kind of just handpicked a bunch of musicians and told them what role he thought they should do. It was like, hey, and I'm going to play drums. And we met up and it worked.
No, Drew and I have been playing together for a long time in different cover bands. And one night we were playing an acoustic show together, and Nick was there drunk. And Nick comes up to us and goes, I'll play bass or whatever. I just want to play with you guys. And that's kind of how that started. That's what happened.
It was embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. That's absolutely what happened.
And Corey, I've just known for a while now. And Corey's one of those people that you meet in life that, like, if there's a spot in what I'm doing for Corey, I want Corey to be in it. I like doing things with Corey. So I don't know if I necessarily was any sort of mastermind as opposed that I just asked people nicely.
That's right. You pieced it together.
Kind of sounds like Nick just kind of asked you nicely. And there's a bit I want to be a part.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was just, the band I was in prior, I was in a cover band that at the time we had just kind of dissolved, and I was looking for something to do. And yeah, I saw these guys playing. I was like, oh man, yeah, I want to go play with these guys. So I approached Josh, and I just wanted to play bass. I just wanted to show up, play some music, hang out, and be done. And
that's what I did.
We were going to be a cover band at the beginning. We were coming together to be you should see our list of covers at the beginning. They had stuff like Superman by Goldfinger. And
Machine.
Yeah, it was going to be a way different project.
Then we all got together and thought, who's going to sing these songs?
Then one day we wrote a jazzy song with a rap verse, and nothing was the same ever again.
We really didn't even make it through one practice. We got together and realized we didn't plan on who was going to sing. And then it turned into very quickly, well, you guys want to write some originals then?
I love that.
Then Nick just cracks open this songbook of like 12 songs.
Oh, yeah. That's just what I was ready to share with you guys.
So did you, Nick, have you always written? Have you always, or is this you've written before, right? Before.
Yeah. I wrote the first song I ever wrote. I think I was in either 8th grade or freshman year of high school.
So a couple years before the band started.
So I did have a few things that never anything that I liked. I'm very self-critical, but the first few songs that we all worked on together, I was like, wow, I actually enjoy listening to this, and that was a big motivator and big step for me as a writer to actually enjoy what I was writing. But a couple of songs, Four and Angel of Fire, those two I had written previously for the band I was in prior. We were predominantly a cover band, but we started to experiment and write some originals, and never really went anywhere with it other than playing them live here and there. But I've been writing, so that's been probably about 15 years now that I've been writing originals, but nothing I liked until now.
Yeah, isn't it kind of an incredible feeling to see your songs come to life and take on a whole entity, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I think writing it always blows my mind that you can, so obviously you have the lyrics before you have the
Yeah, I cannot write without having some kind of melody or some idea of the song first. I sit and I just mess around with different chord progressions and try different things until I find something that seems catchy to me, and I mess with it a little bit, and then I actually work even further backwards. If sometimes I have to have a name for the song first to give me something to write off of. That's kind of how Angel of Fire came to be. I had the name before I even had any idea of what the song was going to be.
That's right. But a lot of that's how I would write. If I wrote, I'd be like, I have to have a title first, and then I'm gonna bounce off of that, and then I would have the tune, and then I would have my lyrics. But 90% of writers say they have their lyrics, then they put the title, then they get the music. And I don't know how that's possible, but
I've tried to force myself to kind of do that, just to at least try to expand my writing abilities, but I can't. I have to hear it, because especially with writing the lyrics, to me, it's easier to rewrite the words to fit the feel of the verses and how many syllables I need to make it sound right and feel right, versus trying to make the song work with what I've already written.
And that makes sense to me. That totally makes. Now when musicians say, no, I have the lyrics and then I get the beat, I'm like, I don't know how you do that. That's twisted.
There's occasional things like Razor Blade kind of was almost the opposite. I did have a melody first, but there's the line of I wanted you since we were young, like a razor blade underneath my tongue. That the concept of a razor blade under my tongue was, I had actually used that in a previous song from the band I was in before, just that line or similar line about a razor blade under the tongue. And I took that concept and wrote an entirely different song that turned into Razor Blade as it is on the album.
Well, I'm glad I was just on a website. That's why I went up. I'm glad you brought that up, because that lyric I heard today like popped out at me. I was like under my tongue, what? And so I was like, he had some lyrics there. I'm a lyric person. That's what catches me. Like if I'm just going to be out dancing and messing around, who cares, as long as it's got a good beat and all that kind of stuff. But I listen to lyrics. Lyrics are crucial. And very smart, very clever lyrics, thought out lyrics. That's my thing. I don't like just kind of typical cheesy kind of stuff.
Right.
I guess that's probably why I liked you guys' music so much. Because your lyrics are great.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. So, because I was trying to find my favorite, because I love Razor Blade. I love that one. And my second favorite is off of the 512 or 1512.
Yeah.
Another Life.
That song too, that was a funny story, because I don't remember writing that song actually, because I have a little recording deck at home that I use to at least make enough of a scratch track where I can record all the different tracks to experiment with songs. And I hadn't plugged it in years, around the time that we started developing that song, and it was the last thing that was saved on that recording deck, and it was a mastered track, which I rarely ever did. I was like, what is this? So I listened to it. I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. This got potential. And brought it to the guys as one of these things. I'm like, I don't know when I wrote this. I don't remember ever doing all of this. But it originally, the actual chorus of the song, which gave it its title, Another Life, originally wasn't in it. What is kind of a pre-chorus now was my original chorus. And Alex Baumgarten, who did all the producing and recording for us on the album, was actually the one that said, like, hey, I like this song, but it needs a little bit more. Feels like you're building up to something and not getting to kind of resolve there. And so I chewed on that for a few days, and I was actually home for lunch one day from work and was walking my dog, and something just clicked, and I finally heard I had a melody, which is the hook for the chorus now. And I was like, okay, so I've got the sound. Now I just need to put some words to it. And it's just on a 15-minute walk at my lunch hour, I was able to come up with the chorus on that one. So that one all came together the way it needed to.
See, that stuff blows my mind. But that Another Life is absolutely my favorite. Like, that's my number one so far.
We put a lot of time.
It's got big the Cure. It's got like big the Cure and the Smiths vibes.
Never thought of it that way, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I want the vinyl when that comes out. And I love the way that you named it 1512 because of your address, Josh.
Where it happened.
Yeah. And it's a homage to 2112 and 5150 and all the great 4 numeral albums.
It's just very cool though, like the stories behind that's why we're doing the podcast, the stories behind them.
It was also because I'm very picky in that sense of we had toyed with the idea of the album being Another Life, and I just didn't I'm not a big fan of titular tracks. I like when an album has more of a concept to the name of it that has something to do with the songs on it, but without putting I didn't want that much pressure on that song, which funny enough, it's now our most streamed song right now, but so I guess it would have been fine.
That makes sense. So that's just like kind of perfect, that you did. I found that unique because I definitely looked for a song that had to do with 1512. I will say I did do that. I was like, what?
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah, this looks like an address or something like that. But anyway, yeah, great story. Love it. So moving on, what do you guys want to do? What are your plans or goals? Where do you see yourselves heading?
Oof.
Playing more, recording more, getting in front of more people, and getting our music out there heard. I mean, we're working on putting together a tour this fall that we're trying to get out of the state a little bit and get in front of more people and get more rabbit heads on the train out there, if you will. And we're like I said, releasing at least one more album this year, a live album, hopefully another studio album. A lot of festivals and stuff like that in the future that we're working on and things like that. But the main goal is just to get out, get more people interested.
So you'd like to tour, all of you?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Corey is already in his car. He's ready to go.
That's right. I'm on tour right now. I haven't been home in 8 days.
Did I forget to tell you guys?
That's hilariously true.
He's just outside my house right now in his car. And it's like, are you guys, let's go. Let's get Colorado. Let's go.
Right.
Oh, so the band that we just did a podcast with and published today, a band called Alexis, they're in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Two of their members were from Illinois and had played with a lot of historic bands here, and then moved to Colorado, and then got this going there. So
Nice. We're actually looking to pass through Colorado in October. If you want to shoot us their info, maybe we can link up with them.
I sure will. That would be really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we will do that. So let's talk about touring for a minute.
Sure.
Have any of you individually or with other bands toured before?
Yeah, I did a short tour with a band called Mustache.
What band is that?
So it's no longer a
I'm not
band, but
laughing
it
at
was
you.
like alternative rock.
It's a great name.
It's a great name.
It's great.
Right. It was like an alternative rock and blues band called Mustache. We actually played one of the last shows at Mike and Molly's there in Champaign.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mike and Molly's was a great place. It was a shame when they.
You cut out there for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see them at Mike and Molly's?
I don't think
Ew.
so.
Okay.
don't think so.
Oh damn! Now I'm lost.
I was in there a lot.
You toured with them.
Yeah. So I think we played that show with a band called Blue Dream from Chicago and another band called 17 Sisters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're from Champaign. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
in Chicago now. They're called the Footlight District. But yeah, I know all of those people.
Yeah, there's like a little less than 17 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting how they got that name. I think there
I
were
think one of
five
the
of them.
sisters may even be a
But,
brother.
What happened was a couple of there were people who couldn't tell the sisters apart. They didn't know who was who. And so just by some coincidence, one day, several people asked several of the different women in the band, so how many of you are there? 17? And it was weird. They all said 17. So they decided to take that name, the 17 Sisters.
I just got their CD today. I'm taking it and dropping it off to KIO Thursday. They're old. I mean, years ago, back when you, Corey, were. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2016, I think.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So so touring. What about you, Drew? Had you toured before?
Have not personally. Would be very excited to. I've done a lot of gigging throughout the years and everything. Like I've done basically every weekend for years on end with cover bands and everything. But I would love to get out with an original band and tour. So,
Nick?
Nope. I've actually made a lot of progress as a musician with these guys. I was very much just I just go to open mics and play around whenever I feel like it, kind of a musician. So this is all very new to me.
Josh?
Oh, not to toot my own horn, but back in the 1900s, I did a couple tours of the Christ and Youth conferences with my trades band at church in high school. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. I'm sure that's why we were booked today. But besides that, no. Played tons and tons of shows over the years. I actually lived in St. Louis for about 10 years. But never a tour like we're working on right now. Nothing like that before.
Okay, so touring fascinates me because I watch documentaries on bands touring, and there's so many stories and there's so many experiences that happens. Well, this particular band bought a $500
I'm invested now.
Yeah. $500 what? Oh,
500 case of whippets.
The documentary, but they bought a $500 band to tour in, and they got to their. I mean, I was so fascinated. They got to their first place, which was out of state, and parked the van. They went in to do their gig, and it was just like really, it was a horrific place. Okay, that they went to, and when they got done, they went out and they tried to start the van, and it wouldn't start. I mean, this van was not in good shape anyway, and so they got into a fight. To just leave them. And they all found their way home separately.
Rumor has it that van is still sitting there to this day.
But yeah, because they couldn't be together because they were fighting too bad, because things just kind of, because back in the day, I guess, if you watch documentaries on bands touring, it's always just hugely fascinating, these personalities together for so long, gigging and, and not making much money to boot, So if you guys toured, I'm sorry. Edit that out. If you guys did tour, would you take a bus or
I don't know. A $500 van sounds pretty good right now.
Drew has a Beetle, an old Beetle from the '60s. We would probably all. I'm 6'8" though, so but we'd figure it out. I might.
We can make it something.
Yeah,
We can shove you in the front.
Yeah.
Right. I actually have a 94 40 Econoline that's like the deluxe edition from the old 1994. That's probably what we'll end up taking.
Velour.
Shag carpet. We got to keep
VCR.
A burgundy shag's nice too.
I can smell it now.
Shit, you can.
So, if you guys do this, by all means, please somebody document it.
Oh, of course.
I think that's one of our strong suits, to be honest, is like our content and like our documenting ourself content.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot of stuff. If you check our TikTok out, you'll see lots of just like funny, goofy antics and such.
Yeah, I grabbed all those links today, and they will be on this podcast, as well as now I shared on our page. It was getting kind of late, I think, but I ran across it on your page. Gosh, what were you guys doing? You were doing some live thing talking about your upcoming recording that you're going to do live. And your delivery is fantastic. Josh, I think you spoke the most.
That happens.
About right.
Yeah, and it was just a very strong, good delivery, right to the point. And then you guys sang. Then you guys did a song. And it was, I stopped everything just to watch that. So your content is top notch.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
One of my lifelong friends, JP, he basically started his own production company called Over the Top Hat Studios, and he's been doing a lot of work for us, and he's the one who filmed that down there and everything. So he's
absolutely our fifth Beatle.
Yep.
And who did your photography?
That was kind of also JP. So anything that's basically not an iPhone photograph has been JP. So
and we wouldn't be nearly at where we are now without him, because he has done so much work for us, and we're so grateful for everything he's done.
We also have a second videographer, which is my girlfriend, who sits or crisscross applesauce. I'm sorry, she sits crisscross applesauce in front of the stage with an iPhone and videotapes entire shows for us constantly, and does we have a lot of people rooting for us.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of bands think that's too cool. Like they're too cool to have to make content and constantly be posting fresh things. And it's like, the more things people have to look at, the more often they're going to traffic your page and such.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and not hugely long drawn out thing, because people's attention span. Let's face it, on social media, they don't.
Right.
You got 15 seconds
to keep them, interested. Yep. But I think definitely if you guys tour, I want to see that documented. And we share it on our page that we're following you, and you're doing this tour, and every step of the way. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
We'll vlog it. We'll vlog the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Constant live stream.
Yeah.
That'll be so interesting.
Corey.
Even like stopping at Casey's and going in and getting a drink. The whole thing, everything.
I think we should just we should make Corey like a helmet with a camera on it, so we can just see the entire.
Yeah, put a GoPro on there.
That's right. It's gonna have to be one of those beer helmets.
So as far as that goes, you'd like to tour. What else? You're already doing your own music, and you're already recording.
Yep.
So what's a bigger dream here?
So we
Nashville?
also we have this really cool thing where we kind of build up the other bands that we're friends with a lot. And a lot of the bands from where we're at that don't usually get put on a lot of like the local bills, we've been making sure to include them and other like smaller like musicians that aren't usually noticed but frequent the open mics and are part of the scene. We usually try to incorporate those and things like we have a show coming up kind of at the end of the year in October. We're going to do a tribute to Dark Side of the Moon, and we have like at least 7 or 8 members of other bands, plus the entire band Muddy Creek and Company splitting that with us as like the bulk of the bands. So I mean, we kind of just try to like rally the banners of all the other local bands around us that are, you know, just friendly or not necessarily included in other things around town.
Yeah, and that's really important. And a lot of the musicians in this music community have learned to do that, and instead of against one another, or and they've all learned to lift each other up and to get involved with each other's music, and which is for fans, that's the best thing ever.
Right. Rising tide floats all ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You know, Drew and I we're majorly into the jam scene, and in the jam scene, everyone's got each other's backs, and everyone plays together, and everyone fits in with each other, and so in that spirit, we kind of formed something that we loosely refer to as the Corn Dog Cartel, which is a local band, local sound guys, lighting people, anybody that we can get together to. If you, as a community thing where, hey, if you do you guys have a in at this bar that we could get in? Yeah, absolutely. Let me give you the information for those guys. We're looking for a sound crew. I can help you guys find somebody. Stuff like that. We're really trying to cultivate, I should say, more community around the music and not just be, no band is an island.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to say on this podcast. That's excellent. Because you'll probably be networking now with.
Nice. While we're at it, we might as well do a few name drops for our bands, for our friends in the Lowdown Days. Oh no, it's Blue Fluid, and also the Indigo Children.
The Hangovers are good buddies of ours. Jeremy Todd, 86 Red, Muddy Creek and Company are our best buddies. Those are our band crush.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there that people haven't heard of yet.
Yeah. So do you guys want to play in Champaign, or how come you haven't played in Champaign?
We've been talking to some people.
Okay, what?
Okay. So we've been talking to a few different venues. We're just kind of waiting for the right bill to get pieced together. So I'd expect us to see us probably at the Rose Bowl at some point in the year.
Yeah. There's some venues in Champaign-Urbana. The summer, it's crazy, with festivals and events and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I could definitely see you guys this way. But a lot of our bands go to Mattoon and Charleston, and and that. So it'd be a cool.
Yeah, we would love to get in the Champaign scene.
Absolutely.
We are sweet boys that are easy to work with, everyone. So if you hear us, we don't show up with attitudes, and we play our set and don't play over, and we're just nice, sweet boys.
What is the longest, what is the furthest that you would go for one gig?
For one
Literally
gig
across the country.
Yeah, a gig.
We've been trying to get some stuff set up in Portland.
Yeah, I got a guy who's offered us one gig in Portland. We're about to head out there and do it. We just want to play. We.
Yep.
I just heard your birds for the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, Drew, did you have a baby?
I got a cat.
Oh yeah, I heard
that
a baby.
guy.
Oh, your cat. It was his cat.
Yeah, he's chilling.
Oh.
Don't let your cat and Zach's bird get together there.
Right.
Anyway. Okay. Well, you guys, it's 7:10, so an hour has went by like that. Well, of course, I was probably 15 minutes late one night.
We were almost there too.
Yeah.
We couldn't get on either. We all had some Zoom problems.
I was promptly on time, running off the Wi-Fi of an extended stay America in Peoria, Illinois.
He was the first one up.
That's why I joked. I said at one point I was like, Corey, man, you might have to carry this. It's just gonna be you.
I know.
So when is your next gig?
Next official, we're doing an unplugged gig on March 11th at Tap Out Lounge here in Effingham, which is an interesting kind of bar concept where everything is on tap, even mixed drinks and stuff.
It's self-serve, isn't it?
It's self-serve. Yeah, you buy. I don't fully understand it totally, but it seems pretty cool. But we're doing a full-on unplugged performance there. Nick will play some solo stuff. Drew and I will both play some solo acoustic stuff. We'll all get together and play a Rabbit and Red acoustic set. After that, we are on the 25th of March. We are at the Uptowner in Charleston, Illinois, with our homies MuddyCreekandCompany. And we're taking April off to do some more writing and recording. In May, we're going to be at the Sugar Creek Family Jam down in Vienna, Illinois. We got a dock party in June. All our stuff's on our website, though, or on our Facebook page. You can see all of our upcoming dates.
However, for the Champaign-Urbana scene, we will be on CI Living.
That's true.
This coming Wednesday, so not tomorrow, but the day after.
Perfect.
And that's on the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, Wednesday the 22nd is the 1-year anniversary of 1512 being released, and we'll be on CI Living, and we're going to play a few songs acoustic to get us all fired up for our acoustic show in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we'll be sure and put that on the event list.
For sure.
And also your other events. We'll
thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
appreciate that.
Added to our event list, which gets viewed by thousands of people.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it's a pretty big deal. So I was really glad to. I don't know where I ran across you guys at. I must have been on a feed somewhere, but I was like, hey, who are these guys? And just got to digging and checking, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty cool. So yeah, we follow you guys, and we'll definitely see your events, and we'll share all of your links will be on this podcast. Just let everyone know. And you will definitely be on the event list for the CI Living and the upcoming gigs that you have. And it's been an absolute, I've had a blast with this podcast.
Absolutely. And thank you guys very much for what you guys are doing for the music. Champaign.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for having us on. This has been so awesome.
I'll send you a list that we created and made up of current venues that host live music. And because we did one a few years ago, and then of course 2020, 2021, COVID, blah, everything changed and switched around, and some closed and some opened, and so we revised it, and then we had some venues reach out to us, put us on there. We do live music. I'm like, cool.
That would be awesome.
One of them was in Effingham.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that the Artesian?
No, it was
No, that Artesian was anyway.
some event center.
The Effingham Performance Center?
Yeah.
No.
30.
We had Effingham Report. It was a different one that we hadn't heard of.
Yeah.
That's an event center. So I'll
probably the old KC Hall.
Yeah.
They used to call the old KC Hall is now the Effingham Event Center. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. They have a big stage outside. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you hang in there for a minute after we get done. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys.